Ooh, boy. A little bit of this, it's a little bit of that, man. It's freaking crazy this week. I'm so pumped.
It is. I totally thought you were going to go with, I want a new drug. just in honor of the guest coming on. But, he's too young for Huey Lewis.
I would have done, Dr. Feelgood, Motley
Okay,
Crue.
all right. No, that's fine. Oh, man, I'm excited, though. Episode 176, we're back.
That's right, baby. And we got the one and only Danny Strong coming on this show to talk about his highly anticipated show, Dopesick, that has all the A-listers in it. You guys know we've been talking about it in the industry news, basically for half the year now. So it's going to be super exciting to hear about how he landed all of these massive people.
My God, Keaton.
I mean, that's right there.
Yeah. And you'll find out exclusively on our show who the hell Joey Grayson is.
Yeah, that's right. It's that sounds familiar. The last name sounds familiar, but who the fuck is Joey? Oh, man. You want to know? You'll find out later on. But now, let's get a little crazy. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. Holy moly, episode 178. Man, oh man, it's going to be a great freaking show because you know myself, J-Lo Fantastic, and the one and only...
Mouth, what's up? I think 176, right? You're trying to jump us 2 weeks ahead.
No, I said 176. I said 176.
We're going to check it. You'll listen, and if I'm right... I don't know.
Exactly.
If I'm right, nothing.
Nothing, yeah, basically. You know. But guys, it's going to be an amazing show. We're super excited. We're always crazy. We're already crazy, hopped up on coffee and caffeine and all the good stuff. Man, oh man.
that would imply it's spiked somehow.
Right, exactly. It's not.
It's not Irish coffee, I swear.
Guys, we're so pumped, though. I mean, there's some new Marvel news coming out, a new Marvel show / spinoff that is a very interesting premise that we are honestly not expecting. And I was expecting a solo film, honestly, before something like this happened. But there's so much other stuff that's going on. Of course, Game of Thrones releasing a trailer for The House of Dragon. Oh my goodness, guys. Of course, we're talking about all the big players in the entertainment industry, all the studios, so it's gonna get freaking crazy.
It is.
But before we get this thing started, be sure to head over to our website, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear out right freaking now. New designs coming soon. It's fall, y'all, so we're getting a little crazy. You guys know we love it, and we love you. But, man, let's get started with some Disney Marvel. We're so pumped because Marvel Studios is developing a spinoff, like I teased, of the Emmy-winning show WandaVision for Disney+.
Yes.
Now, the potential spinoff would center around Catherine Hahn's character, Agatha Harkness' character, which Hahn is set to reprise across the MCU. The streaming and in the movies under a large deal she made with the studio.
Yes. Now, like you said, I thought maybe we'd see her in movies first before this would ever happen.
Yeah.
But I think this is, we talked about this a little bit before we started recording the show, but I think this is maybe to satisfy the fans that thought that Mephisto was going to be the big baddie.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a way to enter into that world and kind of, explore that and give the fans that without having to kind of go back. So I don't know. I have, I'm kind of mixed on this one. I thought Agatha was hilarious, and I thought Catherine was just brilliant in the role.
For sure.
But I don't know. Will we see Wanda? Well, I guess we'll find out after what happens in Doctor Strange. We don't even know what's going to happen. So
exactly. I mean, everybody's much anticipated waiting on Spider-Man No Way Home.
That's right.
But is that one going to lead into Doctor Strange? I'm pumped.
Exactly. Will we see Wanda in Spidey?
Yeah.
Right? That's the big thing. We know we see Doctor Strange, but will we see Wanda? I mean, there's just no telling.
All these questions.
What we do know, though, is that Disney likes to keep it all in the family, right? So with the obvious success of Shang-Chi, this next one only makes sense. Disney Plus has given a straight-to-series order to American-Born Chinese, an action comedy series based on the 2006 graphic novel by Jean Lewin Yang. Now, Destin Daniel Cretton, who is the director of Marvel's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, is set to direct and executive produce the Disney-branded television series. It's going to be produced by 20th Television. What's it about? The series tells the story of Jin Wang, an average teenager juggling his high school social life with his immigrant home life. When he meets a new foreign student on the first day of school year, even more worlds collide as Jin is unwittingly entangled in a battle of Chinese mythological gods.
Oh, shit.
The action comedy explores issues of identity, culture, and family. Comedy.
Wow. That's a lot
That
happening in a comedy.
sounded deep to be a comedy, but
Yeah.
I mean, there it is.
Yeah, man, that one's going to be very freaking interesting.
But there was a lot of comedy in Shang-Chi, which makes this the perfect guy to do this, right? I think it's going to be brilliant.
And I love touching on more of the Asian culture because we need to see more of that representation in the entertainment industry. So I think that's very important. And so does Disney. Disney obviously knows what's best for representation. So they're doing a phenomenal job. They've been doing a phenomenal job, man. Next one, LA Law has taken a major step in its TV comeback. ABC has given a pilot green light to the new incarnation of the iconic Stephen Bachio legal drama. The project, which had been in the works of the network since December, is headlined by Blair Underwood reprising his role as attorney Jonathan Rowlands, in addition to executive producing the show. In this new series, a vulnerable law firm of McKinsey Brackman reinvents itself to a litigation firm specializing there it is in an only most high profile, boundary pushing, and crazy ass cases, while focusing will be on the new generation of lawyers at the firm working with Rowlands. The original cast members would likely make appearances should the pilot go to series, which is very exciting because I know this one had a big fan base, and you know Disney likes to listen to its fans. So
I mean, yeah, and I mean, come on, I mean, Jimmy Smits and Corbin Burnson, why not put them on there, right?
Exactly.
Like, I think people are. I mean, Corbin Burnson's killing it on The Resident, and as we know, Jimmy Smits has been everywhere. So yeah. Bring him back. Bring him back. Another one who now needs a job because, you know, Prodigal Son is off the air. Former Scandal star Bellamy Young is returning to ABC as lead opposite John Ortiz in Promised Land, a Latinx family drama starring Ortiz and Krista Ocho. This is the one about the winery and the vineyards and like all that kind of power-hungry kind of stuff that we've been telling you about. Young will apparently play Margaret Honeycroft, a hotel magnate and longtime nemesis of vineyard owner Joe Sandoval, who's, of course, plays by Ortiz. So that cast keeps rounding out. I'm kind of down for this one just because it's wine.
Right. I knew you would.
I mean, it literally sounds like Dynasty on a wine vineyard instead of the oil fields, but what the fuck? I'll do it anyway. I'm in.
Exactly. Well, another Scandal alum, Jeff Perry, is set as a leading male opposite of Hilary Swank in ABC's untitled Alaska set drama pilot. The project features Swank as Eileen, a star journalist who moves to Alaska for a fresh start after a career-killing misstep and finding redemption personally and professionally, joining a daily Metro newspaper in Anchorage. Now, Perry plays Stanley, a solid leader, but not without his own quirks. A journeyman journalist raised in Alaska, he's had a long career as the editor working at various Metro dailies in the lower 48. He came back to Anchorage with the express idea of running the daily Metro newspaper in Anchorage. And I mean, I'm excited about this because I feel like a lot of shows like The Morning Show and like this one are going to be popular because people get to see the inside world of these publications and of these news outlets, which is amazing to see.
I mean, newspaper.
Yeah.
What? Like that's like this is going to be the modern day Lou Grant.
Yeah.
Like maybe, right? And I bet they clash.
Yeah.
I bet they clash at first anyway.
I hope it like goes deep into detail about how the paper is like on its last leg and kind of dying, so maybe they'll try to revitalize it a little bit, so that'd be interesting.
Yeah, and it would also, there's another interesting take to it that like how does Alaska cover the 48?
That's real.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, because they're kind of like their own little world out there. So, I don't know. There's so many different things. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, it does.
And so does this one. We got a casting change, guys. Jessica Biel, a.k.a. Mrs. Timberlake, is set to play Kindy Montgomery, who killed her church friend with an axe in Texas in the True Crime Limited series for Hulu. Now, she replaces Elizabeth Moss, as you guys know. We reported on that, who dropped out of the lead role, apparently, due to scheduling conflicts. Now, the streamer has handed Candy a series order, and it comes after the project landed at the streamer last year. And it does seem like it's been a year since we first started reporting about that. But I love Jessica Biel. I think she's a phenomenal actress, and I think she's going to slay in this. I mean,
agreed. And she needs more projects to step into the limelight too, because it's kind of been a while. I mean, nothing like high profile. This is the one with Elizabeth Olsen too, right?
No, that's a competing one. Same type story, but competing.
Same, man, oh man. So you need the big stars. You need the big stars. Well, the Americans creative duo Josh Weisberg and Joel Fields are back together for their next FX project. The network has given a 10-episode order for The Patient, a half-hour limited series from Fields, Weisberg, and FX Productions, with Steve Carell set to star and executive produce. The Patient is a psychological thriller centered around a psychotherapist, who's played by Carell, who finds himself held prisoner by a serial killer with an unusual request. Curb his homicidal urges, but unwinding the mind of this man while also dealing with the waves of his own repressed troubles creates a journey perhaps treacherous as his captivity. That's a lot freaking happening, man. But I also really love how Steve Carell is doing all of these dramas right now, because a lot of people only know him from 40-Year-Old Virgin and all these other different comedy stuff, The Office. But I mean, he's such a great dramatic actor, so I love to see it.
He is. And now the next looming question is, who's going to play the serial killer?
Right.
Because I want to see who they're going to put up against Carell. That's going to be amazing.
Exactly.
That's going to be amazing. Okay, jump into WarnerMedia, and we've been talking about it. Logan's been talking about it all over social media and everything. The big disappointment of The Many Saints of Newark, right? And even though the film wasn't so hot at the box office, it only made $5 million on its opening. Some people say the film did end up notching 1 million U.S. households over the weekend that it opened on HBO Max. Now, that's according to Samba TV, which apparently monitors unique streaming viewership households in the statesides. This comes as no surprise, given that it's based on the hit HBO series The Sopranos, obviously, that fans are used to seeing at home. Now, I agree with that part of it. I don't know about if it's 1 million or not. I don't know if they're inflating those numbers or not. But I do agree that I think it did not do well at the box office because Soprano fans would watch it at home.
Yeah.
Those are the fans that were going to go see it, and they're like, if they could watch it at home, they would. Yeah. So I do agree with that.
I think they're just trying to do a nice little tidy news press. Please don't be mad at us type shit, because it was kind of a disappointing film overall for the creative aspect, but in the retrospect of the business side of things, boy, oh boy. I'm just saying, man, I think they're trying to justify the same-day releases and still trying to justify the same-day releases, trying to, quote-unquote, give numbers on how this film did. And they were trying to compare it as one of their most successful streaming films to date, which I don't see it, man. I don't see it. No doubt, I feel like a lot of people, they also mentioned in this article that I read that a lot of people before streaming the movie, there was a next bump for the show. Like, a lot of audiences were going back and watches the show, which I do not doubt whatsoever. But to say that this is one of your most successful streaming movies, when I just don't believe it. I really don't. I think they're just trying to look good for the press.
Well, and now, because of the precedent that the settlement with Scarlett Johansson sets, and now that you say that, right, we saw a bump in The Sopranos, meaning a bump in subscribers or a bump in viewership on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Can some of the stars of this film make that argument that they intentionally same day released it to see a bump in subscribers, knowing they would get that from the Sopranos fans. I mean, it's going to be an interesting thing. I don't think so, because all of their shit was released same day, not just this particular movie, as in the case of Black Widow. But it'll be interesting to see moving forward whether any kind of thing stems from that.
Agreed, man. It's going to be very interesting. And like I said, it's really not an origin story of Tony Soprano. I'm just saying it's more about his uncle Dickie. Tony is actually barely even a main character. He's very much a secondary character, which is very disappointing because they billed it as his origin story and they fucking lied. Anyway, this next one I'm actually really excited about, getting away from the anger and going towards the happy sunlight. WarnerMedia released the spine-tingling first teaser for its hotly anticipated Game of Thrones spinoff, The House of the Dragon. And in it, we saw plenty of the narrator Matt Smith, who we're super excited about because we're huge fans of The Crown, or at least I am, of the first 2 seasons, with Matt Smith in it, and who is playing the Dragon Rider Prince Damien Targaryen, as well as the first look of several of the supporting cast. House of the Dragon Chronicles will beginning of the end of the House of Targaryen and the events leading up to the Targaryen Civil War, known as the Dance of the Dragons. There's a lot of fantastic shit happening in this, guys, so be sure to check it out. And the 10 episode series will air at an unspecified date in 2022. So what does that mean? It's a limited series, which I don't think so. So that's very interesting. Maybe it's a 10 episode season 1, so but that would be way too little in my opinion. But we'll see, man. We will see. But great trailer, though. Great trailer.
Yes, it was fantastic. Hey, Mila Kunis has been busy behind the scenes, y'all. She is apparently, with her company Orchard Farm Productions, sold its first comedy film, The Masters of Mini Golf, to Warner Brothers, specifically for HBO Max. Now, who stars in this? Her hubby, Ashton Kutcher, apparently will star in the film, which is currently in development, and it centers on, get this, a golf hustler, played by Kutcher, of course, and his older brother, who decide to take their schemes from the PGA to the Masters of Mini Golf. And yes, in case you're wondering, that is actually a thing, apparently. Masters of Mini Golf.
Interesting.
They quickly realized thereafter, though, that while the holes might be smaller, the competitors and the challenges are much, much bigger. Oh.
Very interesting.
This is gonna be like a Happy Gilmore on a miniature golf course,
right?
Like, I mean, but it's gonna be hilarious because it's Kutcher, and if Mila Kunis was behind it, it's gonna be fantastic. So
agreed. She's got that deal with WarnerMedia right now with everything going on, and of course, she likes to keep it all in the family, so it makes sense. It makes sense. Well, more exciting news in the DC universe: the 100th episode of CW's DC Legends of Tomorrow will welcome back Wentworth Miller, who will reprise his role as Leonard Snart, aka Captain Cold, for the series Milestone, set to air October 27th. Legends of Tomorrow's 100th episode will be a retrospective that revisits the series' past through newcomer Amy Louise Prenbrutin, Human Gideon. So that's very exciting.
Yeah, and I mean, it's nice to finally see her. She's been voicing Gideon forever, but now we get to see her actually do it. And kudos to actually hiring the actress that voiced it for all the time to actually be the person.
I feel like a lot of the time they don't do that, but good job, guys. Good job.
Yeah, and get this. Did you guys catch the season finale of Riverdale? Are you guys still watching Riverdale? I don't know. But if you caught it, then you know just hours after the fiery season, and why fiery, you'll find out in a second if you haven't watched it. Riverdale's season finale, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina star Kiernan Shipka, apparently revealed that she's set to appear as the character Sabrina on Riverdale's upcoming 6th season. So that's interesting, which will debut apparently in November. Now, her entrance into the Riverdale world comes as series regular, and Kelly Ripa husband, Mark Consuelos, made his grand exit. Now, why fiery? Because apparently in the season finale, they saw Consuelos' Hiram Lodge set part of Riverdale on fire.
Oh, shit.
Fully ablaze, shortly after the main characters exiled him from the town.
Oh, wow.
So,
that's crazy.
I mean, Yeah.
This show kept playing with my emotions, so I just had to drop off. And even more so, it seems like they're playing with everybody else's emotions. So it's fucking crazy, guy.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. I'll let you take this next one because I know your heart is heavy for
And
this one.
speaking of playing with my emotions,
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about this one. But if you guys saw the big season finale of Billions on Showtime, you know what I'm talking about. Damien Lewis is officially leaving after a 5-season run as the alpha male hedge fund billionaire Bobby Axelrod. Showtime confirmed that Lewis will no longer be a series regular going forward, but the producers are saying that they're holding out the possibility of the character returning to Billions universe one day, which makes sense on the way that they sent him out. He's hiding in Switzerland. He's got $2 billion. And I mean, we could conceivably see him make a comeback, which, fingers crossed. The drama series set in the world of billionaires and global high finance, as you know, it's already been renewed for a 6th season. They're already shooting that, which I'm super pumped about. Production is underway with Corey Stoll's Mike Prince. If you guys saw season 5, you know Mike Prince is kind of the new guy now. He's the one who finally beat Axe, shut him down, and gave him the $2 billion. Like, he could have had nothing, but Prince felt sorry for him and gave him the $2 billion to get him out of town. He's going to take center stage. He's going to be the new star of the show opposite Paul Giamatti's Chuck Rhodes and Maggie Siff's Wendy Rhodes. They're staying, thank God. Daniel Breaker has been upped to a series regular for season 6 in his role as Scooter, Prince's right-hand man, like Wags, right? Wags is staying, though. And he's going to be a part of that. I don't know how that's going to work. This is why I'm mixed. I have mixed feelings for this. Season 6 premieres in January.
A lot of people were talking about, was this because of the passing of his wife? But I guess this has been in the works for like 2 years now, which is very interesting.
Yeah, according to Brian Koppelman and the creators, the idea has always been to focus on what the billionaires are in society right now. And when this show was created 5 years ago, that focus was on hedge fund guys. And that was the big thing. That was the push. That's how everybody was rich and making money in there. But now the shift is, if you guys saw, like in season 5, Mike Prince is more of the Jeff Bezos, right? And type billionaire who wants to be a good guy and make an impact in the world and change things for the better. But it's still a douchebag. Right? Like, so that's why the focus shifted, and it's always been the plan. So, Damien Lewis, for his part, he said he thinks it's the right move because over the 5 years, Axe and Chuck have combated in so many different scenarios, in so many different ways. He felt like, what else could we do?
Yeah.
They've done everything. And he loved the idea that this guy that came from nothing to get to the top and always wins, lost.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's happy with it.
Yeah,
so
it's
that's
going to be
good.
very interesting to see how the show moves forward. Well, Star Trek Discovery will go where no Trek show has gone before, in more ways than one, to be honest with you. In the 4th season of the Discovery franchise, it picks up after Michael Burnham. Sanquia Martin-Green was promoted to captain in season 3 finale. The first time a black woman has sat in the captain's chair in a live-action Trek series, set nearly 1,000 years further than the future than any other Trek series before. Season 4 will find the crew of the Discovery contending with the massive anomaly that is 5 light years in its size, threatening to destroy the life throughout the galaxy. The event is so catastrophic that it pulls together worlds that are even in the Federation and outside of it. Season 4 will premiere on November 18th on Paramount Plus.
Now, so this is very interesting to me because this show started off as a prequel. It's set 10 years before the original series. So 10 years before Kirk and the gang ever, right? And now it's jumping 1,000 years after the next generation, which is like insane. Talking about spanning the timeline, right? Like 10 years before the original, 1,000 years after the next generation. That's crazy.
Who knows, man? I do not know.
Let's see. Let's jump to NBC Universal. As you guys know, everybody saw it, the big news, right? Kelly Campbell, who earlier this week left Hulu after 4 years, the last 20 months of those 4 years as president of Hulu, has been officially named the new president of the Peacock. Reporting to Matt Strauss, who's chairman and direct-to-consumer and international at the Peacock, Campbell will be responsible for the streamer's businesses and work with leadership across NBC Universal Television, film, news, sports, and on Peacock Live and original programming. And she starts the gig next month in November. So now we know why she left Hulu.
Right, exactly, man. The streaming wars is alive and well, guys. Well, Cillian Murphy will play J. Robert Oppenheimer. In Christopher Nolan's upcoming historic epic Oppenheimer. The story will focus on the American psychic,
Physicist.
There
you go.
Whose role running the Los Alamos laboratory and involvement in the Manhattan Project has led him to be dubbed the father of the atomic bomb. Universal Pictures will make the $100 million film after winning the rights to a feverish bidding war that also saw the likes of Paramount, Sony, and Warner Brothers. Now, this one will be released theatrically in North American theaters July 21st of 2023.
Yeah, that's good casting. He's going to be a great Oppenheimer, and it makes sense that Warner lost that bid.
Agreed.
Nolan said, fuck you, I'm never working with you again. This next one makes total sense to me. NBC has opted not to proceed with its drama pilot Getaway, headlined by Annie Lazin. It starred 2 leads of recently canceled broadcast series that have been renewed now all of a sudden. So it makes total sense. Manifest's Matt Long and All Rise's Marg Helgenberger. Both actors are now available to do their other shows that have been resurrected, including their old ones, which both have been picked up for 20 episodes each. Long is in talks about rejoining Manifest as a series regular. The Missing Plane drama, obviously, was picked up for a 4th season by Netflix back in August following its cancellation on NBC. And Helgenberger was the only original cast member from All Rise that hadn't signed on when Oprah renewed it for a new season, but only because of the scheduling conflict for this show that departed. But now, not a problem. Now that she's released from that and her contractual stuff, she's probably going to go right there and sign the contract to come back to All Rise, which would make total sense. So, yay!
Yeah, we're so super excited, man. We're so super excited. Now, the one that everyone is freaking talking about that had a massive weekend last week is Sony's Venom, Let There Be Carnage. It crossed over $100 million at the box office during the freaking pandemic, guys, joining Marvel's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings and Black Widow. Disney's Jungle Cruise, Universal's Fast 9, and Paramount's A Quiet Place 2. At least it's kind of a competition. Everybody's going back and forth. And Warner Brothers, of course, Godzilla vs. Kong, which is freaking crazy, guys, because honestly, I wasn't expecting it to do this well, but it just completely knocked it out of the park. I think everybody was just excited to see Carnage on the big screen, and let's just say I was disappointed in that interaction.
And of course, it's glad that it overperformed and made all the money this past weekend, because this weekend it's bumping, it's going, it's dropping for sure. Why? Because MGM's No Time to Die is expected to win the box office this weekend with a projected haul of $60 million. Now get this, guys, it's the 25th film in the 007 franchise. It earned an impressive $23.5 million on Friday and Thursday night previews. The release also marks United Artists Releasing's widest theatrical release ever, opening across 4,407 theaters.
Damn, that's crazy, man. I think it's going to do really well. It's a long-awaited film, so I'm really excited about it.
Yep.
Jumping to Netflix, they have hired former Warner Brothers Executive Vice President of Production, Naji Kukendall, as its new vice president of film, reporting to Scott Stuber, the man himself, the streamer's head of global film. In her new role, she will oversee a new group focusing on mid-size features at Warner Brothers. She worked on such blockbusters as the first It movie, on which she was executive producer, and she was an Oscar winner on The Star is Born. And, of course, one that not a lot of people have been talking about recently, but was definitely among the awards chatter last year, Judas and the Black Messiah.
Yeah.
So she has a nice resume, guys. So I'm interested to see how she will do moving forward.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And the other big Netflix news that everybody's talking about is they're reviving an old Fox favorite.
Yeah, right.
That's right. You heard it. Netflix has ordered That 90s Show, which is a spinoff of the hit Fox sitcom That 70s Show. And get this, Red is returning, guys.
Yes.
It's fantastic. He is. Kurtwood Smith and Deborah Jo Rupp, who played parents Red and Kitty Foreman in the original series, are set to return in That 90s Show. Netflix has ordered 10 episodes of the show, which will be a multicam sitcom like the original in the new series. It's 1995. And get this. Why are Red and them there? Because apparently Leah Foreman, daughter of, that's right, Eric and Donna, is visiting her grandparents for the summer, where she bonds with a new generation of Point Place, Wisconsin kids under the watchful eye of Kitty and the stern glare of Red. So now you know. I'm sure we'll see others pop in and out of there, but it looks like it's going to focus on their daughter and then the grandparents. So.
That's cool, though. That's cool. At least they brought some of the originals back. I love to see it.
Yeah, man.
And speaking of the streaming wars, this is just another freaking example. Amazon, Odetta Wetkins, is exiting Warner Brothers Television after 19 years with the company to join Amazon Studios as head of drama series. In her newly created role, she will report to Laura Lancaster, head of the series for Amazon Studios. She will shepherd ongoing current series for the streamer, including Amazon originals like Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, The Wilds, and much freaking anticipated for season 2 and star-stubbed as well, Hunters with Al Pacino, Logan Lerman, all those good people. So it's freaking exciting, man.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to wrap the industry news up before we get into the big guest interview that we've got going on, you guys know, with Apple, right? And as you guys know, it's the holiday season. It's officially rolling, and it's rolling at Apple TV also, as the streaming platform sets its first original Peanuts holiday special. Now, everybody loves a Charlie Brown Christmas, right? And I hated when they tried to make a new Christmas special with Charlie Brown. Just fucking keep the original, right? But don't worry, they're not doing that. They're going to handle what happens after Christmas, which is fantastic, right? The first holiday special for Old Lang Syne. Oh, that's so awesome. In the special, after the Peanuts gang experiences a disappointing Christmas because Grandma can't visit, Lucy resolves to throw herself the best New Year's Eve party ever, while Charlie Brown struggles to accomplish just one of his resolutions before the clock strikes midnight. The special will debut December 10th. I'm pumped about that.
I know you are, man. I know you are. Literally every other drawing this man does, it's somebody from the Peanuts. So it's really exciting,
I love Charlie Brown!
Exactly. And it definitely has become a family tradition to watch the Thanksgiving one.
Oh, yeah.
Halloween.
And Halloween, the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. And I mean, come on.
They're so good, guys. They're so good. Family, Warren Hart, all that good shit. But now it is time for the one and only Danny Strong to come on the show and talk about this highly anticipated freaking show. Clear the shelves, Mr. Danny Strong, because you're going to win Emmys left and right. No doubt about it. I'm super excited.
Oh, me too, man. And not just Danny.
Everyone.
Keaton, Rosario, Caitlin, everybody involved with this thing. If they don't win Emmys, it's going to be insane.
Agreed.
I'm so excited for everybody to hear this interview. You guys are going to absolutely love it. Just like I've been teasing all week, just him talking about Keaton is worth the interview alone, guys.
Exactly.
It's fantastic.
Exactly. Well, here he is.
Actor, producer, director, writer extraordinaire, Danny Strong. Welcome back inside the Crazy Ant Farm, man. How are you, buddy?
What's up, guys? How you doing? It's great to be back. Always love hanging with you guys.
Oh, man, and we always love having you. It's always entertaining, always a joy to talk to you. Before we even get started with anything, though, we would be remiss without telling you, because we have been ordered to do so. Both of our interns, Jessica and Delana, love you as Jonathan on Buffy. They wanted to pass along that message before we did anything. So, message passed along.
Nice. Let them know Jonathan loves them back.
There you go. Yes, that will make their whole day.
Right,
That'll
that's a sound clip right
it's
there.
It's the character. It's not me.
You're like,
loves them back. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we are super pumped because we want to talk all about Dopesick. I mean, we've been promoting it and talking about it and everything, but this thing, the buzz that it's getting, it is so highly anticipated. And as you know, we do a industry news section on the show every week and everything, and I swear for like 2 months, right, Logan? Like 2 months straight, it was like every week on the show we were talking about somebody new being added to the cast, right? Like, this is like the most comprehensive, most detailed, in-depth A-list cast that we have seen in a long time. But I don't want to start there. I want to start with how did it come, right? Because for all the listeners who might not be familiar, it's based on Beth Macy's book, right? Dopesick. So were you just kind of like reading the book and you were like, oh, this has to be made into a series or a movie. I've got to develop this. Did she reach out to you and how did it all come about, man?
Sure. So it's actually an unusual Hollywood story, although not completely crazy, but not what's expected. So it actually began with a producer named John Goldwyn. Took me to breakfast and said, would you want to write and direct a movie about the opioid crisis? And I said, yeah, let me look into that. That's actually a really interesting idea. I'd read this really high-profile article by Patrick Radden Keefe in The New Yorker. They kind of blew the whole Sackler story up. And then Esquire also had a story, a week or two later. So it was sort of a zeitgeist moment for the story.
Sure.
And so I started researching it. And, there had actually been multiple books written on it at that point. And I was blown away by this story. I could not believe what this criminal company, Purdue Pharma, had done.
Right.
And that it was micromanaged by this family, right? And not even the whole family, just a very kind of, I don't know, maybe 10 people from the family, family, controlled this company. And by the way, they lied for years about that. They said that they were on the board, that they were passively involved, and other people actually ran the company. And then, 2017, 18, all their emails came out in Discovery, and lo and behold, that was all untrue. They micromanaged this company every day. Right? The key people. So I am stunned. I'm shocked. The criminal behavior is so flagrant, so dishonest. And then that created the opioid crisis. And it wasn't like they sparked it and started it. They sparked it, they started it, and then they poured gasoline on it. Making the flames grow higher and higher and higher for decades.
Right.
And in doing so, made billions and billions of dollars. And they're going to get away with it, right? So I thought, I have to do this. So I come up with the show, come up with a full pitch for the show. I go to my studio, which is 20th, which is in the Disney empire.
Right.
And I sell it to my studio, right? Simultaneously, about 3 or 4 weeks later, Fox 21, another studio in the Disney empire, they go and they buy the book Dopesick in a bidding war, not knowing about my project at 20th.
Okay.
So I read about this on Deadline Hollywood that Fox 21 has bought Dopesick, right?
Right.
And I'm like, what? What just happened? And so they actually asked if I would perhaps team up with them on the project. So I read the book Dopesick. I loved the book Dopesick. I thought it was wonderful. I had this meeting with Beth Macy, who wrote the book, and she was an incredible person. And Warren Littlefield was the producer of that project. So I would inherit, this book, this iconic producer, and Beth, and I just said, okay, let's do it. So we all teamed up, and Beth became an integral part of the team. She co-wrote 2 episodes with me. She was in the writer's room, and I absolutely love her. So that was sort of the weird journey of how this came to be. And then Hulu eventually made it.
Wow. It's so funny that 2 studios within the Disney empire aren't communicating like, oh, by the way, we just bought this pitch. Oh, wait a minute. We just bought this. That's crazy to me that there's no intercommunication there, right?
Well, so here's what happened is that it was just a weird time because those 2 studios, 20th and Fox 21, were part of the News Corp verse.
Right. The big merger,
so then Disney goes and buys it. And then now there's 3 studios because there's ABC Family as well. Right. And they're trying to kind of find their, footing on who's going to cover what now.
Right.
So that's what happened is in the cracks, this fell in the cracks while these studios were kind of finding their place in the new Disney empire. And then now they've combined them. They're just one studio.
Right.
And I don't think it was just because of what happened with Dopesick, but there was, I don't know, maybe it was inefficient having two studios kind of doing the same thing.
Take credit. Just take credit.
Right. It's all you.
Yeah. There you go.
And I'm super curious too, because as you know, we are super into the entertainment industry. You know about our industry news segment. What's the timeline for this thing? Was it kind of like floating around there, like right after the merger of these studios, or did it happen during the pandemic, or what was the timeline? When did this thing kind of like start growing into what it is now?
Well, I sold it in 2019.
Okay.
And I wrote it in 2019, kind of slowly, to be honest with you. I really wanted to take my time.
Definitely.
I thought this is a fantastic story. This is just, kind of one for the ages, that kind of story. And so I was really deliberate in writing the pilot. And so when it finally came around to Hulu, because it actually started at FX and then it went over to Hulu. And once it landed at Hulu, they greenlit it immediately in February of 2020. Like they got it on a Saturday, and by Tuesday they said, "You're doing it, go." Right? And so that was in February. And then Barry Levinson came on board, which is one of my heroes. Unbelievable, right?
Right.
And then the pandemic hit. So then all of a sudden it was this writer's room in lockdown, writing the scripts. I had 4 other writers.
Oh my goodness.
And then I'm casting it simultaneously. And it was this crazy thing where I just kept going. The writer's room was virtual, but it was hard to believe it was actually going to get made.
Right.
It's like, when's anything going to be back in production? When's it, there's all these things that just felt like this is impossible, but I'm just going to keep moving forward until I'm told whatever I'm going to be told.
Right.
And so that was 2020, writing the script. And then lo and behold, around July or August, they figured out these protocols for production. The people that figured them out, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, as does everyone in the industry.
Right.
Because all of a sudden we all got back to work. And by the way, like not everyone, but we started to get back to work, and and I kept waiting for Hulu to pull the plug, because the cast, as you know, we started casting all through the summer.
Yeah,
all these amazing people came on board, and it was a pretty expensive show for the subject matter.
Right.
And then they said, no, we're going. And I love Hulu for doing that.
Seriously. Well, and I mean, Barry Levinson and Warren Littlefield. I mean, like, and for anybody who doesn't know, Warren Littlefield, NBC Warren Littlefield, right? Like way back in the day, right?
That's
I mean, legendary. Well, good. I'm glad you brought up. Yeah. I just and Barry Levinson, for anybody, Rain Man. I mean, I feel like I have to throw those references out there, but if you don't know these guys, come on. Yes.
One of the greats.
Yeah, you brought up cast though, and so like I just. When you were writing this, right? Because this has got to be one of the most unbelievable casts ever assembled for a series, right? One, was it always like put forth as a series? Was that always the plan, or was there ever a point where you thought, let's develop a movie? And 2, did you have these people in mind when you were writing? Like, oh man, I have this dream cast that I'm kind of like writing this for. Talk about the casting process and about that a little bit.
Sure. So it actually started, it was pitched to me as a movie when John Goldwyn took me to that fateful breakfast all those years ago.
Right.
And it was supposed to be, he just thought, do you want to write and direct a movie about this? And then the more I researched it, the more I thought, I need more. I need more. This is too big a story to just do in 2 hours. But I always wanted it to be a limited series. I thought, because the spine of the show is this investigation that this U.S. attorney and his assistant U.S. attorneys made against Purdue Pharma.
Right.
And it ended in 2007. And I thought that's a really good ending to this show, because it tells the origin story of the opioid crisis by following these prosecutors that are bringing a case against Purdue Pharma.
Right.
And that case, unfortunately, doesn't end exactly how history would have liked it to have ended.
Right.
But there is something profound about that in and of itself. And so I felt like there's actually a complete story here by doing 96 to 2007. It's the origin story of the opioid crisis, and it gives you an understanding of how it was able to flourish post that, even though these prosecutors made a killer case against Purdue.
Right.
You know, they put it together, you know, and Purdue did plead guilty in 2007 to felony misbranding. And so they had to plead guilty to these statement of facts. And these statement of facts are so damning. The things they pled guilty to. You know, like that's been forgotten because they just keep moving. They just keep moving and they keep lying and they keep selling, right? You know, that's Purdue's, you know, pop culture signature is that they are pathological criminal liars.
Right.
Okay. So then with Cast, it was you know, the first offer we made was to Michael Keaton. We never believed he would say yes because it was an ensemble.
Right.
You know, it wasn't the lead, you know, kind of the main character, but it's still an ensemble.
Sure.
He hasn't done television since 2007. So it was sort of like this Hail Mary, why not try? Let's see what happens. And then lo and behold, you know, we have a phone call. And then by the end of the phone call, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. And then it took a little more time, but then eventually it came back. You know, Keaton's in.
Yeah.
And then so now I had Barry Levinson and Michael Keaton, and we're off to the races.
Sure. I mean, it's like, who's not going to want to join that, right?
Exactly. Who doesn't want to work with Michael Keaton? You know who wants to work with Michael Keaton?
Everybody.
Yeah, it's so funny because all the actors worship him too. You know, he holds this unique place in American culture where you just love Michael Keaton and you really admire him because he's an incredible actor.
Yes.
So it's this kind of twofer that goes on with him that was so fun to see everyone. And by the way, Keaton, he's like the coolest guy ever, you know? I mean, just once we started hanging out on set, it was like the most down-to-earth movie star I've ever met. So I had a great time with him too.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then people just started, you know, pretty much everyone they just wanted to do the show.
I mean,
and people love the pilot and you know, Keaton and Levinson, and there we go.
And I'm super excited for everybody to see it because it's definitely something that is still going on in today's society, especially with everything going on with COVID. But then, like, when we saw the trailer, like, hair on my arms literally stood up, and I was like, this thing's going to win so many Emmys, and little Quinny is going to get another one.
That's right.
I was so excited.
Right. Clear the shelves, man. It's going to happen. And full disclosure, you know, we were lucky enough to be graced to be able to watch the screeners, and people's minds are going to blow when they see this show. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to put it out there. I mean, you've got Rosario Dawson and Philippa Sue and Will Poulter and Peter Sarsgaard and like this phenomenal cast. But I'm going to say it. This might be Keaton's best performance since Birdman, if not his best performance ever. There are moments in this thing where I was just like, oh my god!
Yeah,
it's
jaw dropping.
And Caitlin Dever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man!
Yeah.
How phenomenal is Caitlin?
The two of them are so amazing in a show filled with amazing performances.
Yes.
Everyone's incredible. You know, Rosario's incredible, and Sarsgaard's incredible, and Stuhlbarg is Richard Sackler.
Oh my gosh,
you know?
you're right.
It's like
so
they're
good,
also amazing. But man, Keaton, but Keaton and Dever, their roles are kind of the heart of the show.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And they deliver, you know, just 1,000%. I mean, Caitlin Dever is. She has one of the hardest parts in the show.
Agreed.
You know, where she has to go to emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
And she would walk on set and just first take, crush it, whatever how complicated it was, it didn't matter. Caitlin Dever is going to crush this scene every single time.
Yeah.
And, you know, we started calling her Little Meryl Streep because that's what it felt like, you know. And everyone, I remember at one point, this incredible character actor turned to me and he was like, I'm sick of getting my ass kicked by this 24-year-old. You know? It was just, she's just so amazing. And Keaton too, I couldn't agree with you more. You know, that performance, you know, it's awesome when, you know, your beloved iconic movie star also hits it out of the park.
Right. I mean,
maybe out of the stadium.
Right.
I mean, it's just the performance by the two of them is staggering. And,
yeah.
you know, I think you've seen the first 5, right?
Right.
Yeah, and episode 6 is Rosario's big episode. So
yeah, see. Well, we got 6 and 7, so that's like we're totally
when did that
gonna.
come in?
Oh, today. Got that today. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. With a list of things not to say. So but nice. I have to ask. Okay, so he's a huge movie star. You love him. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna land him. You did not bring out the Robin suit, did you, Danny? You didn't bring out the Robin suit to Batman.
Obviously, I did. I'm like, I gotta close this. Come on. And by the way, he was just like, you know what? You got the part. You're Robin. It was like my dream when I was 15 to be Robin.
I mean, seriously. That's so fantastic.
This is the lead in. This is your big announcement. You're going to be in the Flash, right?
I'm in the Flash. Yeah. I'm in the Flash. I didn't get cast as Robin. I got cast as his like nebbishy cousin, Joey. What was Robin's last name? Did he even have a last name?
Yeah. What, Grayson, Dick Grayson, right? Yeah, Depending on which Robin we're going with, right?
Yeah. I'm Joey Grayson, his cousin.
Joey Grayson.
My allergies are killing me.
Please write that. Oh my goodness. Speaking of writing, though, like we're talking about the performances of this cast, right? And I think that we can easily say, their performances are the best we've seen from them, or they're off the chart this way or that way. And let's be honest about it. That's because, and anybody follows us on social media, we tout this all the time, but we truly believe this. Your writing is genius. The dialogue is like so amazing. Everything you do, the dialogue is just there, right? So it's easy to take those performances to that level when you're able to take what you've written on the page and put it out there, right? So it starts there. And this series is written so phenomenally. And the relationships and the character building that happen over this period of time. And I love how it bounces back and forth, right? You're not in that one solid year the whole time or whatever, the bounce back and forth. The way you were able to lace that together and build these character relationships and these developments is just fantastic, man.
Thanks so much. It was such a complicated narrative device.
I bet.
Doing the timelines. Just doing 4 intersecting stories, right? That are in different worlds. That's complicated. But I was like, how can I make this harder on you? Let me do them in 3 different time periods.
That's right.
And we're going to intersect them all. And it was really ambitious. The early on, Hulu, they kept saying, we're this timeline, it's very hard to pull that off. And I kept saying, no, it's going to be great. Don't worry. I got it. It's going to be great. But I literally had no idea if I could pull it off. So I was lying through my teeth to them, being just, I got this. And then, at a certain point, I started to feel a flow and a rhythm to it. And by script 3, they started feeling really good about it, right? And then we went back and tweaked the first 2 on the timelines because I'd learned a little bit more about how to do it and how to finesse it. But yeah, unusually complicated to do that. But I thought it would be a more exciting way to tell the story, having these guys investigating in one time period as we're watching the crimes and the victims in another time period. Right.
Yeah.
And then you had another investigator, the DEA agent, is in another time period. And if you could sort of intertwine them in a way, it could come together almost as if this giant puzzle that's revealing itself. And I thought that could add an element to the suspense and the excitement and the mystery, because, the subject matter is so heavy.
Oh, yeah.
So emotional. And, you're dealing with a tragedy. You're dealing with addiction. At the same time, if the whole show was that, I don't think anyone would want to watch it. I think it would be too unrelenting.
Right.
So to have these investigative storylines that are actually at times quite exciting and quite shocking when you see what they've uncovered,
right,
intertwined with the tragic addiction story, and then intertwined with this demented family and this pharma company whole storyline. I just thought if they're all working in tandem, it could make for a really dynamic tone.
Yeah.
And everyone, early on when I was pitching it, they said, that's really ambitious. And I thought, well, look, I'll write the script. If it doesn't work,
right.
But if it does work, it could be pretty great.
Oh, yeah.
And that was what I kept telling everyone. And luckily Hulu said, yeah, let's give it a go. I can't tell you enough how badass I think Hulu is for making this.
Agreed.
There was a rival project in Netflix that scared other people off, right? Because rival projects are really scary. I totally got it. It's so demoralizing if they beat you out. And Hulu was just really fearless, and they just embraced it and have embraced it every step of the way. And I think they're becoming, it's sort of reminding me of, when I did Recount and Game Change at HBO,
right.
It was the golden era of HBO.
Right.
They were just, at this artistic level that really no one else was at. And I feel Hulu coming into this golden age.
Right.
Yeah.
And with really original programming, really, unique, diverse stuff. And so I love that. I feel like maybe I'm a part of it. Maybe I'm a part of this sort of next golden age of this company that's on their way.
Definitely.
Or not even on their way. I mean, I'd say they're there.
They're right there. Yeah, I completely agree. And I love the underlying story of Rosario Dawson's character in law enforcement and how they're like, if you overstep, you're a bitch, but if you understep, you're a pushover. I love that because that doesn't get talked about enough in any projects, because there is that double standard, and we do need to address that situation in the room to where, hey, she is also just a human being trying to make it in this world, and that is very important right now. So I was glad to see that too.
And I like how you did it at work and at home, because she was dealing with that same situation with her significant other, and she's a powerful woman, and how's that playing in that relationship? The relationships, like I said, that you were able to develop, between Philippa Sue and oh my gosh, and like you actually made people hate Eliza. Right. What? I mean, what is going on? Like, but there's a point where you're like, oh, I might not like her. I mean, it's amazing, man.
More twists and turns coming that way, by the way.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah. See, I love it. Oh, my goodness, man.
By the way, the absolute coolest, too. Philippa.
Oh, I can only imagine. I'm just...
She's so cool.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
And we also have to give kudos to you, because after our first conversation, our first interview with you, we started writing our project, and we actually finished our first short film. So we just want to give you credit, because it was for your words that gave us the strength and the momentum to keep moving forward and to create our own projects and get everything out there, especially in a global pandemic. So we want to thank you.
Oh, without doubt.
God, I love it. I love it. So now what you got to do is you got to go write the next one.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, man. We're already in the process of optioning the next film, right? The next screenplay and doing the next directing gig, and we're just having a blast writing the series, man. It's like, you truly do inspire us. You are somebody that we look up to. Our goal is to get our series greenlit, like maybe Hulu.
You guys can get it done. You can totally get it done.
So
here's what I find is key is to have as many things going as that you could make good.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Because it's so hard to get anything made.
Right.
And so it's like you don't want to like write one thing and then spend the next 3 years, with it around your neck, with a chain.
That's
right. I will get this script made and I will do nothing else until this masterpiece is told. It's absolutely work on getting that made and do everything you need to do. But there's no reason why you can't write the next one and then the next one after that. So and it makes the writing better.
Agreed, because
the writing improves the more you do it.
Well, that's what you said the first time you spoke to us. Like, you're not a writer unless you're writing. You need to be writing all the time, right? So, I mean, I feel like that's the same as with directing or producing or whatever you're doing. You're not that unless you're doing it. Yeah. And see, the wisdom continues. Like,
there you go.
Always. This is why we really
for you guys.
Yeah,
it's very exciting.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
We appreciate it. This is why we really have you on, to pick your brain about how you do things.
Whatever you guys need, I'm here for you.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh! Like, seriously, we are just so thrilled to have you on. Like I said, we're not joking when we say clear some space, because this thing is winning Emmys. This thing is
gonna. So?
Oh yeah.
I mean, without doubt.
Sure.
The story is so important. The cast performance is there. The writing is there. The directing is there. It's like the full package. If this thing doesn't win Emmys, I mean, we'll start a campaign. We'll be like, what? Like, what the fuck? Why is this thing not having Emmy? Because it would be a huge oversight if it does not. Seriously.
Wow.
You guys are so deserving of it. We can't wait for people to see it. We're so blessed to have been able to see some of the episodes already. I am telling you, people aren't ready for this thing, man. They are not ready.
Well, you're almost done. I mean, 6 and 7, and then the last one's 8.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And I'm still editing 8 right now. So, and I just finished passes on 6 and 7. I actually didn't know they'd sent them out to people.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh. Okay.
Well, I wasn't expecting it today. Like, what were the chances that we'd get that today when we're interviewing you? That's so funny that it kind of came.
You know, because it's just, you know, I edit all the episodes, right?
Right.
So I'm just like churning them out one after the next, and I directed the last 2, so I directed 7. So excited for you to see that.
Yes, so super pumped.
And then I directed the finale too. So.
That's good because you're a brilliant director as well.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, anybody who hasn't seen his film, please watch his film, Rebel and Rye. It's so good, so good. Yeah, and look at you, just like that's what I'm saying. You know, I said it at the top of the show, but it's actor, producer, director, you know, writer. It's everything, the whole package, man. And I think the community is truly blessed to have you. Up-and-comers like ourselves and all of our listeners out there that are trying to do it are blessed to have you. And I just think you're an inspiration for people out and seeing what you're able to accomplish and the things that you're able to do. There's a reason why Keaton said yes, right? Don't kid yourself. It's like he read that pilot or he sees that or hears that pitch and he listens to you and he's like, I got to work with this guy. But first you're Robin, you know, you're Joey Grayson, but
Joey,
you know, he's like, how can I not work with Joey Grayson, you know? But seriously, it takes quality to attract quality, and so don't you know sell yourself short, man. That cast assembled because of who's involved. So
I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, and it means so much to me. And you know, it's like often in sort of my daily life. I just feel like I'm a pinata, just getting beat up all the time.
Yes.
You know, with notes and the rejection, and they don't want this project and that project, right? And you know, it's like to come on your show and to hear something like that. It actually does mean a lot to me and really affects me. So, and you guys have been amazing supporters on Twitter. I absolutely love it.
Well, and ditto, man. Yeah. You're always so responsive and always so you know you have been huge for us. So we greatly appreciate it. Right back at you.
Yeah, 100%.
And hey, for anybody who wants to know, yes, your significant other makes an appearance, which I was so thrilled to see, man. I love that. Yeah. And that's a fantastic little scenario that plays out right there, too. So that's amazing.
She nailed it, didn't she?
She absolutely did, man. She's really phenomenal as well, man. Like I said, quality attracts quality. So there you go. You lucky guy.
There'll be maybe one more of your favorites out there will be showing up soon.
Oh, really?
I'm not gonna say who though.
I think I might know because this gentleman is like in everything ever, right?
I'm not gonna say who.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
See, I love that you know that, though. I love that you know that he's one of our favorites. You're saying it's so fantastic, man.
That's freaking great. Well, one more thing that we have started recently, since the last time you came on, is tell us an embarrassing story that happened to you on stage and/or on set that you can now laugh about and tell the story about.
An embarrassing story on stage or on set,
or one of your most memorable ones.
I feel like there should be endless ones.
Right. That's what I was thinking when I was preparing this one. So
I mean, how could I not have embarrassing stories that are also embarrassing? I feel like every time I'm on set, I'm embarrassing myself. I just so this is only just because there was someone because I don't even want anyone to watch this, so I can't. I don't want to bring it any more attention. I don't know if this is an embarrassing story more than a great story. Mm-hmm. But I was on set and it was on Buffy.
Okay.
Wait, no, I can't even tell this story. Okay, wait, what's another? Oh man. Name a show and maybe I can.
Mad Men. What you got from Mad Men? Anything from Mad Men? Oh, you know what? I'll name a show because I'm pissed it didn't get a second season because I loved it. The Right Stuff. What you got from The Right Stuff?
God, how did that? Wasn't that a really good show?
It was a great show. I mean, Patrick J. Adams and all the gang. I mean, how did it not get a second season? Come on.
Yeah, I had such a, and you know, that's where I found Jake McDormand. For
Dopesick. Of course. Who also is in Dopesick for anybody wondering. Yeah.
Yeah, he was Alan Shepard, and he was so cool. You know, so when I'm on set as an actor. I'm not like scoping for talent. I'm just hanging out.
Right.
You know, it's like, you know, I'm not like a talent scout. I'm just trying to be there as an actor. But you know, if someone's kind of an asshole, oh, I will clock that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I will clock that. Maybe I don't want this person on one of my sets if I actually should.
Right.
And Jake was, he's a terrific actor and he's such a handsome guy. And I don't like people that are that handsome. I don't like them anywhere near me. I'd like you to just not stand near me. Just go over there because you are so good looking that I just want you to be not part of my life.
That's right. That's right.
But he was so nice and he was like this great guy and he was cool. And then when the show aired, I just thought he was fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So when it came time to cast Brownlee, he was the first thing that popped into my head. I was like, oh, what about Jake McDormand?
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of looks like Brownlee. And so that happened on set. What was some embarrassing stories from I feel like I'm failing you guys right now.
What about urinal scene from Billions? There's got to be an embarrassing something with the urinal
or
and
Gilmore
Billions.
Girls. We're huge Gilmore Girl fans.
Yeah, Gilmore Girls. What's an embarrassing story?
Okay, you're just going to have to think on it and come back for a third time.
This is like the worst moment of my life.
It's okay.
I feel like I hate failing you guys. I want to deliver, but I want to deliver I want to deliver the goods,
Yeah,
I want to be like, oh, that's really embarrassing, that story.
Then we can pin mark it. We can put a little bookmark in it, and then next time you think about it, and next time you come on,
that's right.
It'll be juicy. It'll be juicy.
It will be.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. Hey, speaking of Billions, though, before we let you go, I just anybody who hasn't watched this season yet, your blow up scene is fantastic. You are not going to be a part of this guilty. You are not in it. Just every single thing you do is so over the top hilarious. It's so good, man.
Oh man,
yeah.
I got to come on the show every day for my ego.
That's fine. That is really okay.
Whatever bad news I get that day, because it's every day there's something,
Well,
I got to go on the show with the guy.
That's right, man. You got the number. Just call him. Hey, I'm having a bad day. Tell me something. I will give you something because I've been a fan for decades. Logan is a fan. We will tell you something to make you feel better. Guaranteed.
Yeah, totally. No, the Billions. I mean, that is just the gift that keeps giving.
Oh
to me.
my goodness,
sure.
so
much
good.
fun on that show.
Yeah.
And the show is so cool. It's so well done. And
it really is.
The part is a great part. And they know that I've got this other career and I'm pretty busy. And so they write it specifically so that I only need to be there a day or two.
Nice.
And so they really try and work with me to make it work. And I'm going on my 5th season now.
Yeah.
For something I thought would be 2 episodes 5 years ago or 6 years ago.
Did you get to keep your portrait?
Well, it's so funny you say that because I asked. I said, when the show ends, can I have the portrait?
Right.
And the answer, someone did say yes.
That's awesome, man. That's so good.
I don't know what the hell am I going to do with it though. It's ridiculous.
Well, I don't know. But if you auction it off, man. That's a great thing to auction off for charity or something. So
I'll give you an auction story. It's not. I don't know if I'd call it embarrassing, but it's sort of funny. So they were auctioning off all the Mad Men props. Okay. And I saw that they had Danny Siegel's pipe from Mad Men.
Nice. Yeah.
And I thought I'd like to have that because I was actually Danny Siegel. So why not? Why shouldn't I get the pipe that I smoked on the show? But I'm so incompetent. I didn't know how to use the online auction site. So I called a friend of mine who does this for a living. And he said, don't worry, I'll take care of it for you. So I'm like, okay, so get me the pipe. And I'm thinking, this will be, I don't know, $50, $75, right?
Sure.
Well, how much who the hell wants Danny Siegel's pipe?
Right.
And I have all the things from the show. And so he calls me the next day. He's like, we got it. You got it. And I said, how much? And he said, $700. I said, what?
Ooh.
I mean, if I had known, I was almost glad I wasn't bidding because there's no way I would have gone past $250. But I'm so glad I've got the pipe,
Oh my gosh.
There's my auction story.
Yeah, that's a great story.
Somewhat amusing.
Oh my goodness.
I love it. Well, listen, man, we appreciate you. Like we said, I mean, we're here to build up that ego every time, any day. Just shoot us a call, shoot us a text. We got you. And anytime, you are definitely welcome back on the show because we love having you.
Yeah, thanks. You guys are just such a blast to talk to, and I'm so excited about all you got going on.
Oh man,
and,
we appreciate
keep
that.
up the good fight.
Yes, absolutely. And everybody watch Dopesick. Drops on the 13th, October 13th, a Wednesday. Make sure you watch it because it's going to blow your minds, guaranteed. And tell everybody where they can follow you because it's all about social media. We want everybody to follow you and tell you how great you are.
Yeah. All right. Done and done. You're the best.
So it's it's at Danny Strong on Twitter and Strong Danny on Instagram, right?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Fantastic. Thanks so much, buddy, and just best of luck and continued success, my friend.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Take care.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Every single time, this man is absolutely amazing.
Seriously, this guy is like, I can't even, there's no words to, we joke all the time about how great he is, but look he's got to be one of the nicest guys ever, and he is always so cordial and always so supportive and everything, and I mean, I could not be more happy for him and the success that Dopesick's going to see, and like, isn't it cool to see that somebody else is like so fanboying over Keaton as we are?
Right.
Like, I mean, that's, Danny Strong fanboy is over Keaton, like, I mean, come on.
Exactly. I loved every second of it, especially, I wanted to make sure we gave him kudos because it was right after our conversation with him that we started rocking and rolling with writing our series and, I mean, doing the short film, so he deserves a lot of that credit.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely helped inspire us to do what we're doing and continues to inspire us to do what we're doing. And, what an interview, man.
What an interview. Every single day, we appreciate him. And thank you again, Mr. Danny Strong, for coming on the show. All right, now it is time for the top 5 segment, and this is a special one because we got the one and only Rebekah Kennedy back on the show.
Yeah, our forever guest. And okay, and what's that? What's honorary crazy aunt? Your forever guest and honorary crazy aunt. Look at that! Woo! It's only fitting because now you have wrapped up the dozen. This is your 12th appearance on the show.
That's true.
I'm glad you guys are keeping count.
I mean, like, it's hard to keep count. It's like so many times. It's like from the beginning. You've been there from the beginning. We love that you've been there from the beginning for us, and you're just the best. And yeah, 12. We were talking before the show. It's like an average of like 3 times a year that you're on since we've been doing this, which is crazy. We love that.
Well, I love it. Thanks for you guys keep asking me back, and it's great.
Well, of course. Why would we not? You're awesome.
Exactly. And I mean, it's a great year. It's a great year. The Cowboys are doing great. So
yes.
So good.
You will always be the forever guest as long as you're a Cowboys fan. You know?
Well, and we just moved into a house, and so for a while we didn't have the TV set up, so we didn't air it here.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like I'm waiting to be able to actually watch a game for real. So
it's exciting. It's really good to see, to be honest with you. But we're super excited because DC Fandom is next week, so we're leading up to that. So this week's top 5 is top 5 DC shows, in which my opinion, the DC shows reign over the DC movies, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, you know. But as always, Forever Guest goes first. And they're in no particular order.
That's right.
Not in particular order. And as I always clarify, like I could name many. This is just.
I know. Yeah, our honorable mention list would be insane. You could pretty much put, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2, you could probably put every show on this list. But we can't. So we're gonna do this.
So starting off, I'm going to go with The Flash.
Ooh, yes. And now,
not just because I have a friend on it, Kayla.
Yeah.
But
Yes, and so we have to clarify. Then you're talking about the current Flash on the CW, not the 1990s Flash with John Wesley Shipp.
Yeah.
Although John Wesley Shipp is on the current Flash as Jake.
On my list is ones that are recent.
It's okay. He's the only one that remembers the other one because he was around. Like, they
used the suit on the new one. They use his old suit from that on the new one. Come on,
it's okay.
And I do think the new one is great. Like Brandon and I both, my husband and I both watch it. We're not caught up right at the moment because of other life things, but
same. So don't worry about it.
It's so hard to catch up on those shows, man.
It is.
It really is. Well, my number.
So many. Yeah.
Yes, there's so many. I mean, especially in the Arrowverse, and which my number 5 is Arrow. I feel like the one that kickstarted this whole thing off. And I mean, we're huge fans of Stephen Amell. Still watching his success on Stars Heels, the wrestling show, which is just absolutely amazing.
Awesome.
But I love Arrow because, like I said, kicked the whole thing off, introduced all these other characters, and showed me Brandon Routh is a good freaking superhero.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I wasn't a fan of Superman Returns, but I was a fan of the Atom, or is that what he was?
Yeah, he was the Atom, but I'm more of a fan when they made him Superman again with the Kingdom Come Superman.
Yeah.
Man, he looked so good in the suit as the old Superman. That was fantastic. But yeah, Arrow. Yeah, I'll agree with you sort of that it kicked off the Arrowverse for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 5, I'm taking it way back old school to my childhood crush.
Are we surprised?
We
surprised?
What? She's still a crush. I'm just going to say it. I had the opportunity to meet her once down on the coast, and she's fantastic. She's a lovely woman. Linda Carter, Wonder Woman. I mean, hello. That show was so ahead of its time back in the day. Like, it was a great rendition of Wonder Woman. The costume was spot on. She was great. They started it off in the World War II era, but then brought it up into the modern time. And I just loved everything about it. And I mean, come on. Even Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot say it's a huge inspiration for the movie. They paid homage to the movie in it. They had her in the movie, and it was just a brilliant show. So, I loved it. Wonder Woman, Linda Carter. My number 5.
Oh, my goodness.
Come on the show, Linda.
Right, exactly. Still pulling for
That's
it,
right.
man. Still pulling for it. All right, Rebecca, what you got for your number 4?
All right. Well, speaking of badass women, I'm going to go with Supergirl.
Yes.
She's awesome.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Especially that one holds a special heart or a spot in my heart because Kevin Smith directed a lot of those episodes. So, and everybody knows Kevin Smith is one of my all-time favorite directors.
Yeah. And Flash. He directed a couple Flash episodes too. Yeah.
I don't know that I knew that, but now I do.
Boom.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
And Melissa Benoist was like perfect casting. Right? I mean, she was about as perfect as you could get for Supergirl. And the one thing that I really enjoy about that show, too, I'm so glad you had it on the list, I guess all the Arrowverse shows, is they really do pay homage to all the old shows by bringing back the characters, right? Like, her mom is Supergirl, Helen Slater from the movie, Dad is Dean Cain from Lois and Clark. And so they do a really good job of bringing back and paying homage to the old shows and movies, and I love that they do that. But yeah, that's such a good one. Are you excited about the new Supergirl in the Flash movie that's coming? Are you excited about that?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah, me too.
I like that, she's kind of like the seemingly not hero. Like, it's not someone that you would look at and be like, oh, she's the one. And then she's so badass, which is great.
Yep. Agreed. Good choice. Good choice.
So good.
Women all over, feeling of empowerment.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, the next one, everybody knows I'm a huge animation fan, and Kaylee Cuoco, and the F-bombs everywhere. So my number 4 goes to Harley Quinn, the animated show that is on HBO Max right now. It's absolutely hilarious, and I love how they explore that character a little bit more. And no doubt about it, Harley Quinn became more popular now because of Margot Robbie, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, and kudos to Kaylee for doing her own spin on it, right? Because when it blew up and became as popular as it became with Margot Robbie, right? Like, how do you follow that up? But boy, Kaylee did it in the animated series. It's her own Harley Quinn, and it's fantastic. And,
Her own spin on it.
Yeah. And they're all copying, the original Arlene Sorkin from Batman the Animated Series, right? Because they're all kind of like playing off of that.
Exactly.
Which was brilliant in itself. So it's just a great character. But good choice. Good choice. My number 4 is what Stephen Amell will say, and I agree with, kicked off the beginning of the Arrowverse is Smallville. He says, look, the entire Arrowverse is built on the shoulders of Smallville, because if that doesn't do well for its 7 or 8 year run on the CW, they don't even attempt to do Arrow, right? And so I would agree with that. I think it was a brilliant series, right? No flights, no tights was the moniker, right? It's all you're never gonna see him in the suit, and we didn't the entire run until he exposed it at the very end, right? But we never did see any of the stuff, and to this day, I still think Rosenbaum the best Lex Luthor. I think it's the best interpretation of Lex Luthor ever. I loved Tom Welling as Clark. Was a fan of Erica as Lois. Everything about the show was really, really amazing. And it showed that you can kind of tell these personal stories and the personal life and not just all the hero stuff all the time. And it worked. And so I think that's why we see so much of that in these new shows, right? You do see the personal lives and more of that as opposed to just all the action all the time. And I think that's a huge credit to Smallville and what they were able to accomplish. And for anybody out there listening, the new head of Paramount, Brian Robbins, co-creator of that show. Yeah, way back in the day. Head of the class, boy. Co-created Smallville, with Miller and Goff. And
learned so much from this show. This is why everybody should be listening.
Because we're geeks, but it's fine.
Well, and that's, Superman was always, like, I always have an issue with him because he doesn't often have enough issues going on.
Right.
The personal life, because he is, like, it's impossible to kill or whatever. So to see the personal life and the struggle made it a lot more human for me. To relate to the characters.
So are you watching Superman and Lois?
I'll be honest, I haven't yet, but
then you're gonna love it, because I was so wrong about that. I was like not looking forward to it because they had underplayed the characters on Supergirl, and rightfully so, because Supergirl's a star, right? But this show is phenomenal, and it is all that. They go back to Smallville, and it deals heavily with them being parents and the pressures of having teenage sons and dealing with the personal stuff. And it's amazing. I think you're really going to like it.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out and let you know next time.
Fantastic.
Oh, man.
All right, where are we at? Number 3, Rebekah, number 3.
All right, so I'm kicking it iZombie.
Ooh.
Yes, there you go.
Completely forgot.
Yeah.
Loved, I don't know, it's just great. It was great.
It was
fun, entertaining, creepy. Like, I don't know, just has it all.
It does. It does. And you had to have one like that on your list. You had to, because you're like, horror, all horror.
My regret is that I wasn't on it.
Right? Exactly.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. That's funny. Number 3 for me goes to Batwoman. I liked the first season with Ruby Rose. She did very well, in my opinion, even though there was some behind the scenes, stuff going on, which we never really know, like, what was that. But I really like what Javicia is doing right now. She is absolutely slaying it as the female Batwoman, obviously. Black Batwoman, too, to put some diversity into it and show some representation, which is absolutely amazing. But I think everybody needs to go back and watch this because it's introducing that whole squad. Like, what's his face's son?
Lucius Fox's son.
Yeah, his son's character becoming part of the group and everything that. Yeah, so it's an amazing show, and I think not enough people are watching it right now. So that's why number 3 for me is Batwoman.
Good choice.
Yes.
Really good choice. Okay, so my number 3, I'm kind of going along your lines, Rebekah, and bringing it to the stuff that they never realized it's a DC property, but it is Lucifer. Oh my gosh! I gotta tell you, anybody who watches,
on my list.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who watches the show on YouTube or listens to the podcast or whatever, they know I came to this late. I did not watch it when it was first on Fox. I just, for whatever reason, too busy, whatever. But I came to it late. I started watching season 1 on Netflix, and I was hooked. I can't even I must have binged watched the first 4 seasons like in a weekend. I was like, holy this is epic. And then season 5, and then I just finished. I'm so sad it's over. Oh my gosh. Absolutely brilliant show. Everybody in the cast is phenomenal. I mean, Tom Elliott, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And when they crossed him over in the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover with the Arrowverse, was awesome. Loved that. But I really enjoyed the ending. I thought it was a fitting ending of, I think, how it should have been, right? In my opinion. I don't know. I think most of the fans think it ended properly, but I don't know. But Lucifer.
Hard to end shows.
It is.
Like, that you're going to end versus just getting canceled.
Exactly. But I think their relationship, it made sense that that's how it would be. So, but yeah, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it because it's such a great ending. But I enjoyed it. But yeah, Lucifer. A DC property for anybody who didn't know.
Yeah, it's a good one, man.
Yeah.
It's a good one. It's crazy you caught up, too, before the last season. Like, that shows you your determination.
I was determined. I'm like, boom, 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 boom.
Like,
That's a lot of catching up.
It was. But, I mean, come on. Dennis Haysbert as God. Could have they done any better? That was so epic. I mean, come on.
Oh, my goodness.
Right.
So, what are we on now? Number two, Rebekah?
Yes.
So going Gotham.
Ooh, yes, that one was almost on my list. I love the early
I like
interpretation.
going back to like them as kids and seeing where things started, and it's just really all the characters really fascinating.
Yes.
Really interesting show.
Oh, yeah. Ben McKenzie was fantastic as Gordon. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It was a brilliant interpretation, I thought.
Agreed, man. Agreed. I loved seeing the Joker, too. Was that the kid from Shameless? Is that who it was?
Yeah.
I really liked his interpretation of the Joker, which is, I mean, there's...
Or Jerome, because they never really did call him Joker, but we all knew.
Because they're so used to seeing, obviously them as adults and like...
Exactly.
Right.
They're at. So to see where they started and how they get where they're at is really interesting.
Exactly.
Agreed. Well, our number two, really, because we put it both there, is DC's Titans. That is on HBO Max. Started on DC Universe, but man, oh man, this show is absolutely badass. Don't have enough words to say about it. Red Hood / Jason Todd is one of my all-time favorite characters / villains / heroes, so I love that dynamic and how they finally introduced him in this latest season. But each season, they keep getting better and better, and that's what I love so much about this show.
Yeah, it's one of those rare instances where a series just continues to grow and get better and better. Most of the time it comes out of the gate and then kind of fades over the seasons. But this one, every season, it has consistently outdone the previous season. Yeah. And it's just freaking phenomenal, man. And it's good to see the sidekicks, right? Hey, we're not sidekicks, damn it. We're like our own heroes. And I love the interpretation of Batman that they're doing and the storyline of Batman that they're doing. Kind of the old grizzled, and he's kind of like, lost his way a little bit, and he's feeling regret about throwing these young kids into the whole game of this. And it's a brilliant show. The story is just fantastic. And now that it's back set in Gotham again, and yeah, this one had to make my list because it holds a special place in my heart because it's the very first comic book I ever bought all by myself. Like my own money, my own thing. I was like 10, and it was like, New Teen Titans #1. And I still to this day have every single issue of the New Teen Titans all the way up for like 30 years. So, I stopped collecting when they ended.
High expectations.
Yeah. I mean, I did. And I've met Marv Wolfman. Emily was itty bitty, but I met Marv Wolfman and talked to him, and I've emailed back and forth. And so, yeah, I was really high expectations to see these characters, Nightwing and Starfire and Raven, who have never been done live action before, right? On the screen. And it did not let me down. It did not let me down.
Yeah, trust me, every time there's a new episode out, because he holds it to such a high standard, I hear about it. I hear the critiques. So
but they're doing really well, though. They really are.
Yeah.
I think they're doing a great balance of comic book storylines that I love because I read all of those, and then changing it up. Whoa, so I'm getting excited.
So excited.
Changing it up, and kind of manipulating the story. I think they're doing a really good balance of that, and I'm loving it.
Yeah. Have you checked that one out yet?
I'm not caught up. I have so many shows that I need to.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
All good. I literally, because I have a calendar for day jobs, for doctor's appointments, things like that. I've written in my shows now, literally.
I finished a Squid Game because I was like, I feel like it's gonna get spoiled.
I heard that one's crazy. I heard it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Now, are you watching it in English or no?
So I went back and forth. Sometimes I'm tired and I don't. Sounds bad. Don't want to read the screen.
Right. No. Right.
We understand.
I 5 books this year. And the English translation is not the best always.
Yeah.
Right.
Korean, which is unfortunate. Obviously I don't speak the language, but just from hearing other people that do, saying that it wasn't the best translated.
Right.
But you get it. You get what's going on.
Right.
Right.
The performances are fantastic. I gotta know what's gonna happen. I gotta know what the next game is. It's intense. but it's good. So I did both. Because I wanted to hear the actors in their own voice, and then sometimes I would watch it in English as well.
Well, there you go.
There you go. And to deflect the shade off of you, I will make a lot of anime fans mad out there because I am not a subtitles guy, so I make sure to watch it in an English form, which a lot of anime fans, hardcore anime fans, absolutely hate that. So it's okay. We'll deflect that. We'll deflect it. Oh my goodness. Well, where are we at? Number one?
Number one, yeah. What you got?
All right, so I got Doom Patrol.
Oh,
yeah. Yes. Yes. And
I love
yes.
the characters. They're so crazy. I hope to be on it at some point because I just want to play some crazy.
That'd be amazing.
Oh yeah.
All the characters are so fun and insane, and it's great.
Oh, I mean, we love that show. We have a special place for it because the actor that plays Robot Man, not Brendan Fraser who voices him, but the actual guy that does it, he's a friend of ours. He actually auditioned for us way back in the day. So, we didn't give him the part. Oops. Oops.
Where is it now?
Oh, yeah, right? Like, and he's got a good singing voice for anybody who doesn't know. The part required him to sing, and he sang for us or whatever. But Riley Shannon, he's just a great guy. So, we were all in on that show from the get-go. And it is amazing, though, right? And, I mean, how would you do? It's like an acid trip without taking the acid.
It's crazy.
Like, I mean, it is so nuts to watch. Like, it's just I don't know. I love everything about it.
Agreed.
Yeah, when you need like a really entertaining, that's a great show to watch. It's like I don't need anything too deep. I just want to be entertained.
Right. I mean, how can you not be entertained when you've got unmentionable ghosts performing unmentionable acts almost like all over the house? Like, it's entertaining as hell. It really is.
Plus, we had badass Jesus on the show, Joshua McHale, beating up everybody from the end of season 2.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
it's definitely one that holds a place in our heart as well. We absolutely love that one. Number one for me goes to Batman Beyond, the animated series. I just love the shows that are like passing the torch moments, basically, because I forget his name now, and of course I do, but the guy who takes over the role from Bruce Wayne as like a younger guy in the future. Terry McGinnis, thank you. I knew you would know it.
I'm a geek.
And to have an old grizzled Bruce Wayne like teaching his way through all of these different situations, I think is absolutely amazing. And the Return of the Joker, the movie they did of the Batman Beyond, that is one of my all-time favorite animated DC movies. So that's probably going to make my list next week. Just spoiler alert for everybody who's listening. That's going to be one of them.
Well, now they don't have to. No.
Exactly. But yes, my number one, Batman Beyond.
Well, and my number one is the show that spawned that series, and the definitive animated DC property, in my opinion, and I'm talking about Batman the Animated Series, which was heavily influenced by the '89 Batman and Tim Burton. Even Danny Elfman does the theme for the cartoon. It was heavily influenced there, but I just think it was the absolute best interpretation of Batman that I've ever seen. Kevin Conroy absolutely nails the character. The way they were able to bring in all of the legendary villains, but then introduce the new ones. I mean, we were just talking about her. For a whole bunch of people that don't know, Harley Quinn was introduced on that series. She was never in the comic books. She is now because but she was actually a character created for that cartoon and went over so huge that they were like, well, shit, okay.
Yeah.
And she just kind of exploded. But there were a lot of things like that that spawned from that series, and it's so well done, and it was so, kids watched it relentlessly, right? But it was so adult. It was very much made for adults. It was dark in tone and dealt with a lot of different subject matters that were very adult in tone, but somehow it worked. Kids flocked to it, adults flocked to it, and it was huge.
It was huge. It was a great show.
Yeah, I loved it, and like you, the movie that spawned from it, Death in the Family, and then The Killing Joke, and all these different movies that can't. Killing Joke might make my list. I mean, that's Kevin Conroy back and the Joker thing, and both the versions from the Batman and the Animated Series, and scary good. Just scary good. So
for real, man.
That's my number one.
Great list, guys. And I'm proud of us. I'm very proud of us for two reasons. One, I didn't mess up to see which number we were on this time.
No,
which
yeah.
Normally I do.
Normally
I do. And number two, we didn't duplicate at all.
Just Titans.
Well, yeah. Just that
but
one.
that's okay. I mean, it's that damn good. Exactly. It's that damn good.
So I'm very proud of
I
us.
to think outside the box a bit as well.
Yeah, with Lucifer and iZombie. Yeah, I love it.
Have some different choices.
Very proud. Very freaking proud. Well, everybody out there who's listening and watching the Top 5 segment, what is your top 5 DC shows? We want to know. Be sure to add us on social media, in the YouTube comments, or in the podcast comments. We're just all about having that fan interaction, and we absolutely love it. But now we want to talk about you, Rebecca, because almost made him spit up his
lost my coffee. Oh, that's all right. It's okay.
Because you have some exciting things coming up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, don't keep us in suspense. All right, let's talk about the first one first. Horror. Everybody knows you for horror, right?
She's the horror queen.
Yeah, you're always in these things where it gets all twisted and dark and psychotic. So let's talk about Two Witches first.
Yes.
Give us the log line, give us a synopsis. Tell us what it's about and everything, and then talk about it a little bit.
Okay, so try not to give anything away.
Right.
Too much.
Right.
Then it's not fun. But basically, basically about I play a witch who is going to inherit her grandmother's powers when she passes away.
Ooh.
So it's done in 2 parts. Basically, the first part is the first witch, and then the second part is where I come in.
Mm-hmm. So you're the second witch of the 2 witches.
Yeah, of the 2 witches. And from a sorry, my voice
no, you're good.
It's all good.
Living it up. Finally, right? So from an outside perspective, I may not be the nicest.
No?
One review called me batshit menacing, which I love. I was like, I will take that.
So they've seen Station 19, right? There seems to be a trend, but yeah.
But from my perspective, my character, I am someone that just wants to be seen. I'm often overlooked and not noticed and not given any credit for anything. And so that's from me, from my perspective. Other people may disagree that she's evil, but I don't think she is, because we're always our own hero of our own story.
Right. So. And isn't most unruly or bad behavior, it typically stems from not getting attention, not being seen, right? Whatever you have to do to get people to notice you, right? So we can go with that. We can roll with that.
Yeah. And it was also fun to play a villain.
Of course, yeah,
for sure.
And
then
Station 19. Yeah, she wasn't the best person. I wouldn't call her a villain. She was desperate for what she needed, but she wasn't I don't think she was a bad person.
Right.
Intentionally trying to hurt people. She just needed help. Whereas this woman is a little bit beyond help. So that's basically what it's about, and my cat is going to come say hello.
Yes.
Oh, that's okay. We normally have Peanut pop up sometimes. It's all good. Oh, look at that. Looks like my old cat Stripesy. Oh, adorable.
Until she starts crying.
Right.
So that's basically what it's about. And right now it's doing the festival run. So last night it played at Grimfest in the UK.
Awesome.
And then on Wednesday it plays at Styges in Spain. And then at the end of the month it's playing in Utah at Film Quest. And then hopefully it'll be available soon for the rest of us to be able to see.
Fantastic.
It was super fun. We did a lot of it. We started before the pandemic, and then we got stopped, obviously, because of it, and then we finished during it. So that was an interesting time, and it was like,
no doubt.
was still very trying to figure out, what we were doing production-wise. So, yeah, I'm really excited. Pierre, the director, he's just brilliant. And I think it's going to hopefully scare people and make them queasy. There's some pretty gross scenes as well.
No.
Right? And also hopefully maybe to be continued.
Oh.
Dun, dun,
And
dun.
also anyone that's listening, when you do watch it, make sure you stay through the credits as there is a end scene.
Oh, see, this is why we need you on to tell us things like that, right? I mean, that's fantastic. Awesome. And then you've got a second one, right? Los Angeles, which we've talked about before on the show a few times. Epic poster with you in the car and like the whole. I love that. That's one of my favorite photos. So talk about that one now. People can we actually see that one now or what?
So we're going to be able to start. So it's going to the Ojai Film Festival on November 7th. And then it's going to be opening. I can't say all the details yet of where.
Right.
No, but on November 20th.
Okay.
It will be available to be seen.
Fantastic.
So,
and
really
just remind everybody a little bit about what that one's about.
Yeah. So I play a mute that goes on a journey with an escaped convict.
Oh wow!
So,
that's enough right there.
Exactly.
Sold. I'm gonna watch it. Like, that's an interesting story. Just like right there, you don't even have to say anything else. Like that's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's different. It's not a horror. It's not a thriller. There's no scary parts. It's really an adventure story and also a love story of sorts.
Yeah,
not your typical love story by any means, but of sorts of redemption and finding your way back and lost people who are trying to be found who maybe do find their way.
Awesome.
So I think it's a really beautiful film. Mitch Temple, the director, he did an amazing job. I'm really excited for people to see it because it's different. It's a different role for me as well.
Right.
So I'm really excited for you guys to see that one too.
It's fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with us and everything and talking about the projects because you have just like an unbelievably amazing fan base and rightfully so because you're unbelievably amazing and you're always so wonderful and always so great to come on and do these things with us and I can't wait for everybody to see the movies. I know they're going to be huge and everybody's going to love them. And as always, forever guest, open invite.
Always.
Whenever you want to come back, you just say, or we'll call you up when we want you to come back and say, hey, thank you for sporting the merch. Love that.
Yes,
You're so awesome.
Yes. I was like, I have the perfect shirt today.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. You're just phenomenal. Thank you so much. And congrats on the house. That's amazing, right?
Thank you so
like
much.
Totally adulting.
Do you have your Halloween costume picked out yet? No? Oh my goodness.
No, not yet. It's a lot. It's a lot. This place needed some work. So
we understand. We understand. Well, we know how you're super into it, so that's why I asked. Like,
that's right.
I remember.
I can get something together. I have some ideas. I'm just not sure yet what I'm gonna do. So
I love it. I
like. Hopefully this year we can actually do stuff.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much again. We appreciate you as always, and like we said, we'll be talking to you like tomorrow.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me again, and I look forward to being on the show again.
Of course. You know you will. Maybe Halloween. Maybe the Halloween show. You never know, right? All right. Take care. Tell the hubby we said hello, and we will definitely be in touch with you soon, okay?
I will. Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Now heading over to the box office recap. Man, oh man, Venom set some records this past weekend.
It did.
Super excited about it. I will admit, I was definitely wrong. I did not think it was going to overperform like this because, goddamn. Like,
I mean, it like majorly overperformed.
Yeah.
I mean, by like almost $30 million.
Yeah, I'm not sure anyone was really expecting this. But of course, it came in at number 1 with $90 million, which is insane. The top of the box office since the pandemic. So kudos to Venom and kudos to Sony. But really, it's kudos to Marvel.
Right.
Because that's really what it is.
And just to show you how powerful Marvel actually is, Venom, as awesome and epic as that was, is on pace to drop more than 60% this weekend. So see, Sony did not have that full Marvel magic to where it can maintain small drops. But, I mean, that happens when you overdo, like, in the first week, right? So
Exactly. And in my opinion, there's no rewatch value in this one either. So,
No.
I mean, like I said, in my opinion, I think it lived up to the first one because I thought they were both just okay. They really didn't go above and beyond like normal Marvel movies do.
Yeah, no, I would totally agree with that, but the next one will.
Oh, yeah.
And because I'm
sure.
pretty sure we can throw this out there because at this point everybody's seen it.
Yeah.
It finally does what everybody expected it to do. It connects the MCU and the Sony Spider-Man universes together. We will finally see Tom vs. Tom, Holland vs. Hardy, Spidey vs. Venom. It's going to happen. And if I just did spoil it for you, too fucking bad.
Oopsies.
Whoopsies.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it was worth it just to get to that spot. Like, seriously. Number 2 was The Addams Family, the sequel. I was honestly surprised because I absolutely forgot this one was coming out.
Right.
But, I mean, it has an A-list cast attached to it. So, it came in at number 2 with $17.3 million. Number 3 was Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings with $6.1 million. And number 4 is a disappointing The Many Saints of Newark, the Sopranos prequel that came out that also simultaneously released on HBO Max, which HBO and WarnerMedia is trying to say that they did huge streaming numbers for it, but I call bullshit. I'm just throwing that out there.
So you don't believe the story that we ran? I mean, the 1 million households? Come on now.
Yeah, yeah, it's just... Yeah.
So you believe the industry news or not, but Logan does not. We've clarified. Logan, no. He calls bullshit on that story.
It's such a disappointment. It came in with $4.7 million at the 4th seat, which I said is disappointing. And number 5 is Dear Evan Hansen, second week out, and came in at $2.5 million.
Which is surprising because the way this thing is getting hammered, the fact that it's hanging in the top 5 is surprising.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it dropped... I forget what it got its first weekend, around like 7,
right?
I think, but only dropping $5 million, I for sure would have thought it would have dropped under $1 million.
Yeah,
but
agreed.
I mean, it's such an important story to be told, and be sure to check out Is It Worth It? Because we did a review on Evan Hansen,
that's
that's dropping on Monday, so be sure to check it out. But new movies that are coming out this weekend are about time, finally. James Bond 007, No Time to Die.
Yeah.
Such a fitting ending.
He's already seen it. Yeah. I'm seeing it tomorrow, maybe tonight. Who knows? I don't know. But definitely this weekend, and then you'll hear all of our thoughts about it.
It's such a fitting ending. Yeah. Like, I was so happy with it. I'm so happy they waited. I know we've been hammering, like, just release, at least me. I've been hammering about just release the movies on a streamer somewhere. Fuck. But I'm really glad they waited because this one is worth the wait. Daniel Craig is absolutely amazing. And I mean, I'm just saying, the younger audience, I feel like, is not much of a James Bond fan. The way they released his movies, like, they're so spread out in such a wide span of time that I feel like it didn't really generate a mass young audience appeal. But for me, who's only seen a couple out of his, like, 5, I think, that he's done, I loved it. And I want to go back and watch every single one of them because Daniel Craig was a damn good James Bond.
Well, and it's interesting that you said that, too, because he's now the longest tenured James Bond.
Yeah.
The longest tenured actor to play James Bond because of the delays in the films and because of the long gaps in between his films.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the most films as James Bond, but he has the most time as James Bond, which is interesting to me.
Like
Roger Moore still holds the record for the most films as James Bond, but yeah, I'm excited to see it, and then we can talk about it. So
it's really good, guys. Like I said, be sure to go out and see it, and I said this in my post, definitely one of my most favorite entertaining movies that I've seen so far this year. Really freaking worth it. Number 2, another movie that is coming out this weekend is Lamb, whatever the fuck that is. Number 3, Mass. Maybe they're holding Mass for the Saints of Newark, which just died at the box office.
And that's the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, exactly. South of Heaven.
Sounds like something they would do in the South.
Exactly, for Lucifer. and also The Rescue, which who knows where these movies are playing. If they're showing at your local theater, be sure to head out and support your local cinema because it's all about going to the theater.
That for sure sounds like a story. No Time to Die for the lamb because they tried to give him as a sacrificial lamb at Mass, but he didn't make it to heaven because they rescued him. I mean, it's just a full story of the movies.
Full story, right there. Right there.
Now you don't have to see any of them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Movies you can still go see, surprisingly enough, because the way they're releasing movies, there's only like one big movie coming out every weekend. Free Guy, which has been out forever now. Still, have you seen it yet?
I have not yet.
You can see that one.
Free Guy.
Candyman. Jungle Cruise. Charles Maria Poot 3,
sure,
whatever the fuck that is, and the Jesus music.
That's right.
So yeah,
and if you throw in the fact that Shang-Chi is still out there too, like we talked about, right? That's 3. And fuck it, just because they are a part of it, with the Venom thing, that's really like 4 that Disney is just capitalizing on. Yeah. Disney is slaying the box office during the pandemic. They should have done it for Black Widow.
Just saying. That's why she got paid. Just saying. All right. IMDb Pro top trending segment. You guys know we love it. We use it all the time during our interviews, and our guests will also attest to it that it is the Bible in the entertainment industry.
Facts.
So if you're breaking into it, you need this app. It is the one-stop shop for everything you need. The top trending movie this week is Indiana Jones 5. Why? I have no idea.
Let's see.
There it is.
Yeah, let's consult the Bible.
Let's consult the Bible, see what happens.
If there is anything that's a reason why,
Did Harrison crash a plane again? Did he crash a plane again? Is that what happened?
It's quite possible.
I mean,
I don't
you
know.
really never know, man. You really never freaking know. With how old he is and how kind of senile, I will say it's a little dangerous.
Okay, so this is according to the Bible, IMDb, it's because some new set photos being back on set after its little temporary shutdown, were revealed. Really? And that's going to make it number 1 just because... What?
Indiana with a walker. Come on now.
I mean, for real.
Yeah.
Come on now.
The top trending TV show is The Last of Us, which hasn't come out yet, but we've seen some also on-set photos, so IMDb is really tracking a lot of those photos, apparently, with Pedro Pascal, and remember, this is the video game one that's coming out, so we're super excited about that. And the top trending star is Hamish Linklater. Who is this guy?
Well, apparently he is making Midnight Mass's massive orgy of violence.
What?
Yeah.
Massive orgy of violence.
I'm not even kidding. I'm not even making that up.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why he's in the nude.
In the nude.
Or in the news. I'm sure he's in the nude too if it's a massive orgy. But
oh my goodness. Wow.
What? It's naked news.
It's naked news. There it is,
naked
guys.
News,
that's why. There's your IMDb Pro trending segment right there. Oh my goodness.
It's only coffee. I swear to God, it's only coffee.
We got to thank our guest one more time, Danny Strong, for coming on the show and such a phenomenal interview.
Oh
we love this
gosh.
guy.
And watch Dopesick this Wednesday.
Yes.
You won't be disappointed.
You won't. And if you're not already, which most of you are, be sure to follow him on social media. Strong Danny on Instagram and Danny Strong on Twitter.
Yes.
You guys know you can follow the company and the podcast on all social media platforms. The podcast is at ITCAFpodcast, and the company is at Crazy Ant Media. And our interns are just killing it right now, guys.
Yes, they are.
I mean, you get to interact with them. They're making videos about their own opinions about stuff we haven't even seen yet. So we appreciate them. They're rocking and rolling with everything they do.
Seriously, there's a reason Danny gave him a shout out.
Exactly.
And not just because we told him.
No.
No. All kidding aside. And, of course, huge thanks again to forever guest Rebekah Kennedy, and you can follow her on social media everywhere. It's at Rebekah Kennedy on Twitter and at Becca on Instagram.
Yes.
Man, so much.
So much. It was a huge show, guys. It was a huge show. You guys know you can follow us both personally on social media. Myself at JLoFantastic and
at Crazy Ant Guy 1970.
That's right. That's right. And you guys know you can subscribe to the podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast. Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Stitcher, so much more. Oh my gosh, guys. If you're listening to a podcast on a podcast platform, chances are we're on there as well. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you're watching the video on YouTube, we're adding so much more content on there. So that's why you should subscribe to the YouTube channel, ring the bell, like the video, all the good stuff on YouTube. We want to get more traction there. And we have a specific intern now just for YouTube. So things are looking amazing here at Crazy Ant Media.
Soon we'll be referring to the Crazy Ant Empire.
Literally.
Like the Disney Empire.
Exactly, guys. Exactly. And be sure to visit our website, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. We got shirts, we got hats, we got new fall merch coming out. Christmas merch is right around the corner, and we all know that you guys love that Christmas merch.
I mean, and look how good the merch looks. Look how great Rebekah Kennedy looked in that shirt, right?
Exactly.
It's like fantastic merchandise, guys. You know you want to be an honorary Crazy Ant.
Exactly. But, I mean, it was a great show. Honestly, I love just the interviews, both interviews that we had, I think were my favorite parts of the show.
Oh, without doubt. I mean, they were both epic and always are. It's always a blast to have both of them on the show. They're always so fun and entertaining and always so gracious to do it and come on and share their stuff with us.
Yeah.
And, definitely my favorite parts of the show, too. I mean, what else can we say? It was pretty epic.
It was, man. It was. And House of Dragon finally got a trailer. That is another freaking exciting thing of mine. Everybody knows I'm a huge Game of Thrones guy, so I'm excited.
I'm not gonna. I'm still, upset and basically, don't know how to feel about Bobby's exit on Billions, but I'm gonna get past it. I love Corey Stoll. I love the Prince character, so I'm just, but if I'm still kind of like mixed about it.
Yeah, man. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening to another episode. We always appreciate it.
You know who would be a great billionaire to have on Billions?
Yes.
The only O that matters.
That's right.
Oprah!